I thought my game would be finished in November. It's now January, so what happened? This is the second game I finished, and you'd kinda assume it would get easier, but I think this game left me even more sleep deprived than my last one. You can actually download it on the Google Play Store for free right now, but more on that later. Anyways, it was September 1st, and I just released my first game on Steam, and I was already beginning work on my next game. The game concept was simple, a spider on its web, trying to survive. This gave me a lot of false confidence, so I decided I'm gonna finish the game in 2 months, and we all know how that ended. I wanted to model a web, but I thought that's gonna take too long. So I decided to spend the next 2 weeks writing a procedural web generator instead. I know, I must have saved so much time. And now we had a web, but the gameplay was, lacking, so I added a spider that looked like that. Since my web was procedural, I also made the animations procedural, which basically just means... Never mind. I got it to move on its own, and I upgraded the visuals. It somehow became an even bigger eyesore, but yet again, the gameplay was, well, there wasn't any, so I added some delicious cubes for you to chew on. And I added a venom meter, because you're gonna have to catch your food yourself. And with that basic idea of the gameplay loop done, we now have the average AAA game. But I want to do better. Next I added some beautiful rain particles and made a little weather system. You're having a nice day, rain randomly spawns out of nowhere and murders you. Immersive, right? And since I'm playing God with this poor spider, I gave him the ability to hide. Then, I realized the spider is too comfortable, so I washed all his food sources off the web. And for extra realism, I added the super detailed fly model. Next I made a cloud, and if the spider's life wasn't stressful enough already, I made raindrops fall on the web, weighing it down. Then I added a stat for weight, I then made a new map, added some super realistic wind effect, and I almost quit the game dev because of a bird who refused to act like a bird. Then my friend told me that the rain wasn't very interesting to play through, so I made you have to frantically run around cleaning your web. And now you can get brutally removed from the food chain by a stray drop. I then finished the next map, added a tree, and decided every map needed a new mechanic. I made some fancy visual changes, added a fly model, made animations and new buttons for it, and then I changed the UI for about the 1000th time. Then I added a pause menu, and now my game was starting to look like a game. I made a main menu, which I slightly changed about 20 times throughout this video, and I started on a new cold map, which is a complete mess if you look at it from anywhere besides a very specific angle. And yes, those distant mountains are about an arm's length in front of you. I then made a bee, because they are cool. Then I added one of the most important features to my menu. Yes, you should do that right now. Then my bird gave me another 24 hours of bashing my head against the wall. At this point in development, I thought the game would already be done. I was so foolish. The new map's mechanic is the cold, so you gotta stay on the move. And I made a butterfly because, I don't really have a reason. And then I had this very original idea for a map, so I started by making it look as ugly as possible. Then once I came to my senses, it ended up looking pretty good. Last video, I had no unique features for the map, so I added a bat because a subscriber called Cool Kid Comics suggested it, who by the way is publicly subscribed. Everyone please take notes. I then spent about 2 weeks cleaning up my game to make sure it works great, and I added 2 more maps with their own mechanics, which I'll let you experience yourselves with the link in the description. I made you have to lay eggs to move on to the next map, to artificially inflate to make you feel a sense of accomplishment from beating each level. And for why I made no videos in the past month, the stuff I was doing wasn't exactly content worthy. Let me give you a taste. So this week I made the UI animations 25% faster, decreased the rain interval on map 3 by 4 seconds, and added a settings menu with time left over to animate the death screen and change the background color. I even reworked the web weight system too. Yeah, pretty rough. At this point, I was pretty sure I was done, but I gotta make money somehow, so I added everyone's favorite mobile game feature. Ads. But I don't think my Unity project wanted me to add them either because they messed up my game so bad that I couldn't do anything for a whole week. At first, I got 1 error, then I solved it, unlocked 2 more, then I solved them, unlocked 3 more. And that's when it hit me. The errors in my project had more progression than my entire game. Yeah, that hurt. So I made 2 robot spider helpers that each have one purpose. One cleans the web for you and the other kills prey. You unlock these guys by reaching a certain time on the last map. Pretty cool. As for ads, don't worry, you could go the entire game without seeing one. Please don't, I really want to make money off this game. And with that, I was finished. But I still didn't have a name, so I thought what felt like for a few hours, and I came up with the name WebBound, because, you know, you're bound to a web. As for my next big project, I want to make a horror game, so stay tuned for that. And I'll also be making some videos about how I make games under time constraints and just a lot of cool content coming up, so subscribe to not miss that. And if you're interested in my game, you can download it on the Google Play Store and give it a 5-star review. And if you're feeling extra generous, watch every single ad in my game. As for everyone with an iPhone, I'm sorry I didn't have an iPhone to test on, so I couldn't really make the game for it. And with that, thank you for following along with WebBound, and I hope to see you again on my future projects, because I have a lot of cool stuff planned.